Hello, it's Ian from Salisbury FC with a slightly overdue video update. We've had the training videos and the live streams, which have been great. But me and Steve have been wanting to put another video out for quite some time, but it just doesn't seem to have happened. We haven't forgotten about it. It's just we've not been able to link up and get it sorted. So yeah, it's good to be back. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Salisbury FC manager Steve Claridge. How's it going, Steve?
Very well, thank you, Ian. Good start, isn't it?
It's been a little while since we've done one, so we're a bit out of practice, aren't we?
Yeah.
We did try and do a few interviews in the interim because we were desperate to talk about Marvin Brooks, but we kept getting blocked, didn't we?
So we weren't allowed, yes.
Yeah, yes. We weren't allowed, yeah. So, yeah, Marvin Brooks, he has signed. We are allowed to discuss.
Yeah. No, I'm very pleased, actually. I think I need to explain what happened first, and then obviously explain now. Obviously, what happened last time, and there were certain circumstances that did not make his signing conducive to what we required last time. If you remember rightly, that was the year that Bennett and Wright left very, very late in pre-season, and left us very, very little room for manoeuvre. I mean, obviously with those two, I wasn't looking for a centre forward. We didn't need one. We had 94 goals previously. There's absolutely no reason to change that, and I thought they were both going to stay. But unfortunately, obviously, Sutton called Tommy Wright back at the last minute after promising that they would leave him with us for the season. And then obviously Justin got a really, really good offer from Oxford that obviously there's absolutely no way that we could get anywhere near it. And, he chose to go. So it left us very, very late on pre-season with no centre forward. And I rang Marvin, and I'd never seen him play. And Cal had seen him the previous season. He got a couple of goals, and he said he played really well. And I rang him up. I said, Marv, I need a centre forward, big, strong lad who can go and play up there on his own. And he said, yeah, I can do that. Obviously, that he can't, and that's not his role. I had a number 10 in Chris Shepherd. So for me, an archetypal number 10 is like Chris Shepherd, who's got very good feet, he's quick, he's got good vision. So if Marvin had said I'd play more as a 10, I would have said, well, I don't need you. But he said, yeah, I can play as a up there on my own as a centre forward. Anyway, obviously, clearly he couldn't, and certainly not the way we played. And firstly, he hadn't trained for about 2.5 months prior to coming to us. He struggled badly with his ankle. His attitude at the time wasn't good. He's the first one to admit that. He came for the wrong reasons. And it didn't work. It clearly didn't work. And it was the right thing to get rid of him, and it was the right thing for him to leave. This time around, it's been completely different. It's like we've just signed a completely different personality, a different player. Everything about him, he was strong, he was enthusiastic, he's taken a pay cut. For every reason that you can say is a positive to come to the football club, he's provided that. So, in both cases, I always knew he was a good player, but he just didn't fit last time. Now he fits. I know what type of player he is. I know where he's going to play. That is the type of player that we need at the football club. He'll stop us getting done in midfield 3 for 2. He can get forward and link the play to the centre forward. You've seen already, against Bath, how he can go. He's very, very physical. He can drop in. He can get forward. So he gives us a multitude of options. He's fit. He's strong. He's a complete. You know more than anyone, Ian. You've seen him training. Yeah. He's an absolute monster. And that's what
it was always top of the fitness tests as well.
Well, he's right up there, which was very different to 2 years ago when we had him. He had a really bad ankle. He hadn't trained. He was so unfit, it beggars belief. So we've got a different player. We have a different personality, and he's come because he wants to come, and he's gone back. He had another year at Poole, and he's actually physically gone back there and said, "I want to leave and go to Salisbury." And he was on more money at Poole.
He's fought for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So he stood his ground, and he's done what he had to do, and he's really, really up for it. And as I say, I'm so pleased that we've got him. And now, instead of being the wrong player at the wrong place at the wrong time, I think you can probably say that we're the exact opposite to that. So we now have a really, really good player on our hands. He's always been a really good player, but we know what to do with him now. So it's a fantastic signing for us. It really is. And I think people will see, even that little fleeting glance the other day, I think people saying we played really well. That's Marvin, and that's Marvin every week.
Yeah, it was really entertaining the other night as well. And he played a huge part, made some great tackles.
He did.
Played some great passes, set up a lot of the play that went forward. It was fantastic. Let's move on. The rest of the squad, how do you think it's shaping up? It's looking surprisingly quite good actually so far, isn't it, with what we've seen in pre-season?
Thanks for that. Surprisingly quite good.
Well, I'm talking under current circumstances where we're trying to cobble something, or you're trying to cobble something together, shall we say? And we've got some brilliant players.
Yeah, we've got some players that we've signed some decent players. There's no doubt about that. Added to the ones that have stayed from last year, your Bensons and your Fitchits and those types of players who we know are very good. I thought it was fantastic against Bath. We seem to be building that sort of like bridges as we go, which is what we asked. The performances are getting better and better, which is great. That was a really strong Bath side. No matter what anybody says, they had 3 or 4 trialists. They had actually, I think it was 2 or 3 maximum trialists. Aside from that, that was their first team. The trialists they had were from Forest Green. They were excellent players. So this one, lads that they cobbled in on a Sunday afternoon. So I think with regard to that performance, I think that there are certain players who had to step up, and at this stage are stepping up, which is fantastic. We've got, I think we've got a really good game at Shoalin. We're trying to get another game on Wednesday, and then we've got Eastleigh at home, and that should be the perfect mix going into Hendon at home. So I'm pleased at this stage. There are 1 or 2 areas, not of concern, but where we can improve. So whereas before they were concerned 2 weeks ago, they're not anymore. There's just a question mark as how we can get a little bit more out of those individuals. But they've been told, they know what they need to do. They're experienced players, and I'm sure they'll get where they need to get come 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I mean, to clarify my surprising comment, it was a pat on the back actually, Steve. We've seen what we've put together in a time when we are struggling. So I mean, I think people that have been and seen the pre-season friendlies all seem to be getting quite excited about the season ahead. I guess you're feeling the same, and you've got high hopes.
Yeah, I mean we've lost good players.
Yeah.
People have got to understand that we've lost good players to good teams, which has made it really, really difficult. The budget is not what it was last year. The budget will be a lot less than some teams in our league. That's and that is as obvious as it can be at this stage. We wouldn't have allowed those teams to take those players if we could have been competitive financially, but we're not. We are doing it. As I said, we're doing it the right way. We are no longer in a situation where we should just turn up and beat the likes of Taunton and the Tivertons and the Hayes, because a lot of these clubs will have the same, if not bigger, budget. So the expectation we shouldn't be getting carried away. We've got a good group for the money we've spent. I'm really, really pleased. This is probably the best financially. This is the best bit of business squad-wise I've done since I've been here. I think we've still got a lot of good players on very, very respectable money. And I think looking at the group as a whole, it's a closer knit group. It's a group that wants to win certainly more than last year. We're starting on a level foot in where we didn't last year. We had a lot of injuries. We had 2 or 3 really big players last year who just couldn't get fit, start the season, and ran with at least 6 injuries every game, which was impossible. And when people say, about what happened and where we were, there isn't another team could have done what we did last year with the injuries and the people that we had missing. Not another side in our league that could have gone 6, 7, 8 injuries every game, and been competitive. So, fingers crossed, as you said, it's encouraging what we're seeing. I'm not going over the top. It's encouraging. You know, friendlies, with all due respect, against good sides like that, are an indicator, but they're not the be all and end all. I think we're going in the right direction. I'm pleased. There are maybe one or two other players that we might look to get in. We have tried literally everybody. I heard someone say something about the Met Police centre forward, tried to get him in. Somebody said something about someone at Gosport, tried to get him. We've tried, you name it, I've tried to get them in. So I think people have got to understand it's, you know, we have worked very, very hard to get the players in for the money that we've got to spend. And this year has been doubly difficult because of that. But I think we're not far away now from where we need to be. And as I say, the group as a whole is tight and knit. You get the feeling that it's more demanding of each other. It seems to be more vocal, which is nice. And it seems close and knit, which is great.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that in the friendlies and in training. Anybody that's watched the training montages that are put out, I try to be a bit arty with them, but I think you can tell that the guys are getting on really well, and you can see them bonding very, very well. Right, well, thank you very much, Steve. Season tickets are on sale now. Anybody who would like to grab one, and thanks for your time.
Pleasure, mate.